when you guys are in it, Adam to your left, first time him and I spoke when he wanted to come to be with us at the great beaches of Addison, Texas. Okay, he leaves Miami. He says, I want to leave Miami. He had a life-changing event. His father passed away. He had a relationship that didn't work out because she had some health issues. So he said, I just want to come to Addison. Comes to Addison. We're doing the first interview. I said, so tell me where you stand politically. He says, what do you mean? I said, so how do you feel about Trump? He says, what does that have to do with anything? I said, I want to know where you stand with Trump. You remember this phone call, right?
We have a good ending, buddy. We have a good ending.
At least he's on the team now,
We're
right?
back, baby. Don't
He's on the train.
So better late than never.
True.
So he said, well, and all of a sudden I noticed by the way he's reacting, I already know the answer. I know where the guy stands. Well, I just don't like this, and I don't with Russia, and I think there's, I said, what Russia? So even with the Russia stuff that said Russia, all this stuff, how does it now feel that when you're seeing all of these stories coming out, the 274 FBI for January 6th, insurrection, when you're seeing, and then Kash Patel today says, our job is not to go out there and monitor and see what's going on. That's not our job to go out there and and we'll play the clip here in a minute. You got Russia collusion, the dossier. You got all this stuff that's coming out. How does it feel for you guys? How does redemption feel now?
Well, it's total vindication. I mean, it's the whole point. I know we're talking about it in a little while, but it's the whole point of my book, all right? I wrote a book, Under Siege. Think about this. They impeached my father twice over absolutely nothing. They made up Russiagate, right? I mean, they made up the dirty dossier where they claimed that he did unthinkably disgusting and lewd things, right? And that was all paid for by Hillary Clinton. They raided our home. They raided Mar-a-Lago. They raided Melania's room. They raided Barron's room. I became the most subpoenaed person in American history for doing absolutely nothing wrong, for being an honest, good person, right? Unlike Hunter Biden, by the way, who's finger painting all day long and selling it to Chinese nationals. I mean, they weaponized every DA and every AG, 91 felony indictments, right? I mean, Maine pulled him off the ballot. Colorado pulled him off the ballot. We were deplatformed. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. They ripped us off like we were dogs. They left Boko Haram. They left the Ayatollah. They left Al-Qaeda on there, but they ripped the 45th president off. Guys, they tried to bankrupt us. They tried to take the name off of Trump Tower and every building that we have around New York State and around the globe. They wanted us done. They deplatformed us. They debanked us. They did everything they could to possibly destroy us. And when none of that worked, they tried to kill him. They tried to kill him first in Butler, Pennsylvania. Then they tried to kill him again at a golf course. They put our family and they put this country under siege, right? And so it is like the greatest vindication. I mean, I was sitting there. I sat next to my father in those disgusting courtrooms in New York City every single day as they read. And we've overturned every one of the cases. We've won every single one of these cases. And I always tell this story. We hop in a car. So, it was that, horrible Mershon trial. The daughter works for the Democratic Party, right? 34 felony convictions were read out. He stands up, turns around, shakes my hand. We hop in the car. We're leaving the courthouse. He goes, honey, I don't know how right now, but we're going to win this thing. And when he said win it, he meant win the White House. He meant win the entire trial. And I said, it's either the White House or jail. Because that's how bad it was at the time. Meaning, you either win the entire thing, or that they're going to throw you in jail for the. And now all of a sudden you're sitting there, and Hakeem is wearing the Trump 2028 hat, and he's doing these
back to memes.
He's doing these sombrero memes with Chuck Schumer wearing and having the greatest time of his life, and just dismantling the whole system that was so corrupt, dismantling DEI, USAID, which was literally like, a terrorist organization toward the United States. And, you see the stock market today, you see everything that's happening, you see energy prices falling, the biggest tax breaks in the history of the country, peace in the Middle East. My man over here is a crypto guy like I am. Bitcoin hit 124 a little while ago, so I'm very proud of that. And he's doing awesome, and it's like the greatest redemption.
How do you? But you see the redemption side, but you don't see the vengeance side. So that's the part, and because you essentially could if you wanted to, and you're having fun with it. But some people may say, why aren't you going a little bit harder after your enemies? You are, you're not, but it doesn't seem like even what happened with him. With earlier we're talking about the shooting, we're talking one at Palm Beach, but you got the other one at Butler. He's just moving on. So what's his mindset when you're saying, hey, we'd like to know who went after, we'd like to know who tried to kill you, we'd like to know what happened here. No, we got business to do. Why is he doing that? What's he thinking when he's making those moves?
Listen, I think he has a different calculus than all of us. Here's what I'll tell you. I am wholly unsatisfied about what happened at Butler, right? I'm wholly. Listen, they got into the phones of every January 6th grandmother who was walking through the Capitol taking selfies, but you couldn't figure out who a 21-year-old kid who had 4 cell phones was, that's sitting on a roof at Butler, Pennsylvania with a sniper rifle, right? No, nothing to see over here, but we're going to go after this, 75-year-old grandmother who loves America, who was singing the Pledge of Allegiance 3 minutes before and took a selfie in the Capitol. Give me a break. I don't think anybody buys it, but I think he's playing with a different calculus, right? There's national security concerns there, right? He does, and obviously he knows what they are. And so, I think he's been a total gentleman about it. I think as a son, it's very hard for me to be a gentleman about it, right? I'm still pissed off. I think a lot of America is still pissed off about this, and I can say that. Listen, he has to be the commander-in-chief of the country, and he has to do so being cool and collected, and I just think he has a different calculus than probably all of us collectively do, and there's a sense of maturity there that I think is actually, pretty special and unique.
That's a good word you use, maturity, right? Because it's how to use maturity with a 2-term president who had a show that was #1 for 15 years, who's a multi-billionaire, raised kids that are very good kids, all independent, doing their own thing. The part about maturity, so for you, from the lens, because the first time I think we did the podcast was 2 days after you guys won, right? I think it was 1 or 2, it was 2 days or 3 days. It was right after he won, right? But now, so we couldn't measure on how he's managing his second term that he's in. So we're looking at this book right now. If you're watching this and you're loving the podcast, this will be at the end of every single one of the clips. We would like to see if we can do something. Okay, thank you so much. I would like you, if you're watching this, to go support Eric Trump. We're going to put the link below. Buy a copy, maybe buy 2, maybe buy 5 and gift it to somebody. It's number 30. Let's, in the next 24 hours, help this book become #1 on all of Amazon. If you can buy 10, order 10. Let's send a statement. The book comes out October 14th. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.